What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Bang! What is Crack-A-Lackin, everybody? We are back. I told you we weren't going anywhere. Fantasy Football 2026 kickoff is here. Sleazebomb here. Today we're going to be diving into the top 30 Dynasty tight end rankings. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of moving parts. These are obviously early rankings. You're going to have a lot of trades, a lot of draft capital. We are going to include the rookies in this as well. I believe that 3 rookies are going to crack into the top 30. But again, these are early ones, and I'm going to drop these every single month here. So we'll dive into wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks throughout the week. I'm not going to be pumping like the crazy, 5, videos a week or 5 videos a day content I was doing during the season. So we're going to be looking at Dynasty. There's a lot of new coaches. There's a lot of new shifts. There's a lot of new stuff going on. So this isn't tiered out yet. This is just my top 30 Dynasty rankings with 3 of the rookies that I believe that are going to be drafted in the first 1 to 3 rounds that are going to be relevant in fantasy football, guys. Now, before we dive into it, as always, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button. It helps me out a ton. And I don't know when we're going to be live. Best ball drafts are going to start up here pretty soon near the draft. So I might do a couple shows here and there, but it's been so busy with everything going on. So I'm going to try to get you I'll say 1 or 2 videos, 1 video, maybe a day, possibly if I can get that done. But I will get the rankings out here coming throughout the week. Well, we'll say 1 video every 2 days. So, all right, guys, we're through the intro. It's good to be back, man. I hope you guys are all, ready to kick off the 2026 season here. And yeah, we're going to start off with tight ends. So this is my top 30 Dynasty tight ends. And if you guys have any questions, like trade value of what you would trade for these players, as always, drop it down below and I'll check it out for you as well, guys. All right, guys, let's dive into it here. I'm rusty, but we're back at it here. So this is not tiered out. This is just top 30. So if you see the top tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, we're just going for the top 30 Dynasty rankings, guys. Remember, if you want to know any of the values to trade for these players, drop them in the comments. You have trade requests or something like that, you're making a Dynasty, always drop them down below. I'll try to help you out in any way I can there. Now, you see all these pictures above me here. These are all tight ends from last year that have just fallen out of my top 30. So, Pat Freiermuth, John Smith, we don't know how that's going to play out with Pittsburgh and their situation. Darren Waller, is he coming back to a rebuilding Dolphins? I'm not buying that. Cole Kmet has got to be out of the way with Colston Loveland and how goddamn good he looked in the playoffs. Mike Gesicki, not someone I'm interested in the Cincinnati Bengals. Evan Ingram, man. Talk about a big miss for me last year. I was really high on Evan Ingram playing the Joker role for the Sean Payton. That didn't work out. Zach Ertz looks like his career, man. That injury was just gruesome, and I think it's been some odd time. Noah Fant is like with Mike Gesicki, I'm not interested in. Cade Otton as well. Just out there runs wind sprints. The guy plays 90% snaps, does nothing with it. Now, Chigakonkwo might be trade, candidate offers coming in for him. That's why I have Gunnar Helm down here, and I was going to put Gunnar Helm in the top 30, but I'm just waiting to see how that plays out. And then Michael Mayer as well for the Raiders. I don't know why they haven't moved him with Brock Bowers. But again, it's the Raiders. So let's dive into it here. We're going to talk about a couple players, couple coaching changes, couple moves that are going to happen here eventually. And again, this is early rankings, guys. I'll do these once a month here. And we're going to start off with tight ends. We're going to start off with the T85 Terminator Trey McBride. Still going to be my number 1 tight end, even though he's on the older side compared to the younger guys that are about to come up here. Not really the older side. I mean, when you look at Travis Kelce, he's playing at 37 years old, right? So, it's just old Dynasty compares-wise. I think Trey McBride will be 27 this year. Still, Kyler Murray's on his way out of Arizona. Definitely looks like that. Probably looks like they'll run out Jacoby Brissett, who just fed this guy to an absolute monster season where he just dominated every other tight end. I had him as my tight end 1 last year. He's going to be my tight end 1 this year again. And I really do think they're going to draft a young quarterback in the draft here, maybe, 2nd round, 3rd round here, and let Jacoby Brissett be the veteran that leads them next year. Number 2, we're going to have Clint Kubiak and the Raiders' new offense with Mendoza, the number 1 pick. I think it's really going to help him. I think they need to get that offensive line help, though. But Brock Bowers last year, injuries just riddled his season away, and bad quarterback play with Geno Smith, which if you guys were in my shows last year, you knew that I absolutely did not like the Geno Smith signing at all. Now, man, number 3 here. Last year, I was on the Tyler Warren train. I thought that Tyler Warren, statistically he did. But I am now on the Colston Loveland ahead of Tyler Warren in Dynasty. So we're going to put them back-to-back 3 and 4 here. And we're going to throw up 5 because all 3 of these guys came from the rookie class last year. So when you look at Colston Loveland, the situation is absolutely amazing. You're tied to Caleb Williams. You got, I think DJ Moore's on the move. That could open up some targets for him. We won't see as much Zacchaeus this year either. You'll see more Luther Burden. You'll see Romo Dunze. And man, what Colston Loveland did in the playoffs was an NFL all-time record. That's how good of a performance he put up. So I've got him at number 3, and he's also 21 years old. To go along with Harold Fannin, who's also 21. Tyler Warren is 23. But when you look at the Colts now, Phillip Rivers comes in. Does Danny Jones come back next year healthy? Anthony Richardson looks like he's out of town. I don't think he starts again in the NFL. So what's the quarterback situation going to look like in Indianapolis? And you also have Alec Pierce, who's testing free agency as well. So it'll be Pittman down. So maybe Tyler Warren gets even more targets here. So again, going to come down to the quarterback and how they played this out. Now, Harold Fannin, guys, and this is just monstrous, right? We're going to throw him up down here because David Njoku is my 23. He's going to be on the move, right? They already said he's not coming back to the Browns. Now you got Todd Monken in from the Ravens. Todd Monken, addressing Shadur Sanders and how he wants to develop him. So I really don't think it's going to be Deshaun Watson. And with David Njoku out of town, I mean, Harold Fannin is just acquire this guy at all costs, right? So like these guys above me right here, I don't want to own a single one of these guys in Dynasty, period. So I'm just using that as an example. Now, Harold Fannin, I could put him up there with Loveland. Like all 3 of these guys are damn close in ranking, by the way. Number 6, got injured last year, still Tucker Kraft. The guy is a machine. I know he's coming off injury. You could probably buy low on him right now because of the injury as well. Still, you don't know how this Packers wide receiver room is going to shuffle out. You're probably going to have Jaden Reed. You're going to see more Matthew Golden. Romeo Dobbs probably their factor, probably their ex-wide receiver. But Tucker Kraft is Jordan Love's guy. And this guy was on his way to a monster season last year till the injury happened. It happens in football, man. That's why the sport's called football. But Tucker Kraft still coming in at number 6 for me. Number 7, Sam Laporta. Same thing with him, kind of in and out with injuries last year. Jared Goff getting a little older. Lions redemption season is here. That didn't make the playoffs last year. Both me and my buddy Big Draft Energy called that. And when you look at it, Jameson Williams emerged. Jahmyr Gibbs is one time, let David Montgomery be gone and just let Jahmyr Gibbs go nuts. But he's still going to be a factor. He was just injured, kind of like although Tucker Kraft was season ending. Sam Laporta has lingered all year long. Still a top tight end for me, still number 7. Now this one's interesting. Number 8. Kyle Pitts, and I told you guys all last year, I was like, this is my last dance, because I did my last dance the year before with him. Obviously wasn't as good. Kyle Pitts emerged this year, tight end 2 on the season. Obviously it wasn't that high of a scoring tight end here because most of the guys got hurt. When you look at like Brock Bowers, George Kittle, a lot of the big names went down. Tucker Kraft. So he kind of got a free walk into tight end 2 last year in PPR. But now when you look at it, you got Michael Penix coming off 3 years, 3rd ACL, which is deadly. You got Kirk Cousins in a contract they can't figure out, which they kind of screwed themselves over there. So he's not going to get traded. No one's going to take that contract from him. And now you're getting quote unquote trade rumors to the Eagles. So if Kyle Pitts lands on the Eagles, guys, look what Dallas Goedert did with the new system they implemented last year, which was a horrible passing system, but it favored the tight end. So if Kyle Pitts lands on Philly, we're going to be moving him up. Even if he stays the Falcons, I'm still full send Kyle Pitts in my top 10 still. I'm still a believer in the talent. I'm still a believer in the age. I mean, the guy's just too good. Now, here we go. Number 9, the Oregon stud, Ken Jan Sadek. Now, I know people have Stowers in front of him from Vanderbilt. I'm still going with Sadek out of Oregon over him. The big performances he put up in big games is just too hard to ignore. Great blocker, great route runner, can find himself in space wide open, and he's a man beater as a tight end, kind of like a wide receiver type versatile guy. That is why I love him. Now, with him, it's going to come down to landing spot for all these rookies, right? So I'll throw out Stowers. I have Stowers at 11, okay? And these are my top 3 tight ends that I think are going to go. Michael Trigg is going to be number 25 from Baylor as well, right? Now, all these guys, it is going to be landing spot dependent. Like if Sadek gets drafted behind, wherever David Njoku goes to as an example, or say like Michael Mayer is traded to one of these teams and one of these rookies go behind him, obviously it's going to hurt the playing time. And obviously it's going to be more of a split, kind of like when you're looking at my wife's calling Pat Fryer with Jonnu Smith type situation like that, where they're running out 12 personnel. So, these are just rankings on talent base for me when it comes to these guys and their age. So I'm going Sadek 9 at Oregon, Stowers at Vanderbilt at 11, and Michael Trigg I'm going to put at 25 down there from Baylor. I do think he's going to have a chance there as the third rookie to pop off in this class. Now, number 10, and I've seen too much nonsense about this. I've seen that people tweet out that they think the Chargers are going to draft Kenyon Sadek. I'm like, dude, you guys not see Rondé Gatson, 22 years old out of Syracuse? My sleeper tied into the year last year. Now you have Mike McDaniels. Looks like Keenan may be gone. Who knows what happens to Quentin Johnson's contract? Could Trey Harris emerge? Sure. But Gatson had a hot streak, and then he kind of fell off, right? But now you're in the Mike McDaniels Charger system with Harbaugh. This is going to be pure gold all the way. I'm targeting every Charger I can get in Dynasty right now. Ladd McConkey, when we get to wide receivers, he is my number one buy low acquisition player, but we'll talk about that in the wide receiver video. But Rondé Gatson in the new system, this is going to be pure gold. Again, if they do draft another tight end, then we're in trouble, right? But man, at this situation right now, I love Rondé Gatson so much. Number 12, the big Jake Ferguson, Dallas Cowboys, still got Dak, still got Pickens. We don't know what's going to happen with Javonte Williams yet. Their offensive line should get better. Hopefully they do right by the draft this time because they traded away a couple pieces that got them a couple future pieces. So the Cowboys are going to be scary here. But whenever you have Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson is always his guy. So Jake Ferguson is still going to come in at number 12 for me. Heading down to number 13, and this one's like a head scratcher, man. Dalton Kincaid. Like, Dalton Kincaid should be my number 9 tight end. Like, should be up by Kyle Pitts. But he's playing 50% snaps last year. This Dawson Knox thing has got to stop. If you get the Dalton Kincaid at a Brock Bowers 90% usage, you are going to get an elite tight end. I loved him coming out of college at Utah. He's just had a couple injuries that have hampered him, slowed him down here throughout the seasons. But still, he's not like he's 29 years old getting hurt. This guy's 24 years old playing 50% of the snaps. I can't make it make sense. Dawson Knox is not the answer. If they unleash Dalton Kincaid, could be one of your best buys in Dynasty, period. Number 14, now I know George Kittle's on the older side, and we could, look at it like Travis Kelce, like this is his last dance. But Travis Kelce, 37, man. So I put Travis Kelce at 29. These are the older guys we're talking about here. I do believe that George Kittle wants to win a Super Bowl, and I do believe he's got 2 to 3 years left, probably play until he's like 34, 35, and then he'll probably go join the WWE because he's just an amazing personality person like that. Probably my favorite player in the NFL, to be honest. And you guys know I'm a Niner fan. Obviously, you can see behind me, and if you've been part of my shows, you know that anyways. But still, this guy can, when you look at like a tight end, let's put it like this, like Brenton Strange, right? 24. He's going to come in behind him. You'd rather have George Kittle for the 2 years than Brenton Strange for the 2 years to help your team win. That's just how I look at it with Dynasty ranking-wise. I know that he's, on the older side. Brenton Strange, you could look at, he's like 24 years old. You're also in a situation with Liam Cohen where you got wide receivers galore, Jacoby Myers, BTJ, Parker Washington, the new slot guy, Travis Hunter, who knows how they use him offensively, defensively this year. So when you look at Kittle, now you're in a situation with the 49ers where we're losing Juan Jennings. Brandon Ayuk is on his way out. Ricky Pearsall cannot stay healthy. Obviously, if Ricky Pearsall has a healthy year, he's going to be an absolute monster and a great dynasty buy as well. But George Kittle is going to be the absolute focal point of this offense next year in the passing game. Well, I mean, you could say CMC, who probably get, 90-plus receptions if he's healthy again. But still, George Kittle, you have to love the situation. That is why I have him higher. 16, this one hurts. I love Mason Taylor last year. I love Mason Taylor again. Stud coming out of LSU. But you're on the Jets. And it's like Breece Hall last year on the arguments I had to have. You're on the Jets. That's it. This is where the careers go to die. They need to turn it around. They did make the right draft capital moves here for the rebuild, so I hope it starts to look better. They got a better coaching staff moving in here as well. Mason Taylor, 21 years old. Great dynasty buy as well. You still got Garrett Wilson. You got Adonai Mitchell. You got John Mechie. If they get Breece Hall and Braylon back, they've got weapons. They just don't have the captain. So that's the problem we're facing here with the Jets, and that's the only reason I'm not higher on Mason Taylor with his age. Coming up behind him, number 17, Theo Jackson, Darts, Guy Johnson. What a buy this is right now if you can get him for cheap. You might have neighbors on the shelf for a couple weeks earlier in the season. There's some bad updates for him. And the Giants are looking at wide receivers to trade for. So that kind of makes it scary either way, right? You're hearing A.J. Brown rumors. You're hearing Jalen Waddle rumors with Wandale, a little trade there. So either way you look at it, Theo Johnson is going to emerge. He had more of a breakout last year than his rookie season, so I expect him to take a bigger even jump this year, and I like Theo a ton. He's my tight end 17. Tight end 18. It can't be Colby Parkinson, right? Like, it just can't be. I know this guy made great catches in the playoffs, the down the sideline one to win the game for him in crunch time. He was absolutely amazing. But this is the Terrence Ferguson time. You're about to see the Kenyon Sadek, Terrence Ferguson, how good these tight ends were for Oregon. They're about to step up and emerge. You get one more year with Stafford here. They're taking one last dance. You're going to have Devontae Adams as well. And I honestly think they're going to bring in a wide receiver too as well. They're just going to stack this offense and just let it ride. And if they want to have that game-breaking tight end, that's Terrence Ferguson. I know that Kobe Parkinson, again, he obviously when you have McVay's mind drawing up plays, you can get anyone open. But this guy is your electric, better talent tight end, in my opinion, and the one I'd rather own, even though Parkinson numbers were better down the stretch last year. Number 19, the tight end that shut me up last year was Dallas Goedert, man. I was not high on him. And when they came in and said, we're going to focalize Dallas Goedert, they were not lying about the offense. But now we don't know where Dallas Goedert's going to be this year. So, and you're hearing Kyle Pitts rumors, like I said, with the Eagles already. So it looks like they're looking to invest in a tight end. Dallas Goedert heading into the older side, I believe age 31. He's heading into a 30. So, you know, I don't put him on like the Travis Kelce Kittle era, or not Kittle era, I mean, range of their age of talent. So Goedert, kind of someone I'm fading away again, just depends on where he lands. Number 20, this could be absolute gold. Like, this is a buy now player just based on the situation, because Mark Andrews, I have at 22 behind him, and Isaiah Likely, 24, 25 years old. You've seen him flash just talent galore, even though this guy's got like the worst, got to be NFL worst, like drop, step out of bounds, all the ticky-tack stuff that just gets him stuck. It's just weird. But if he lands as a tight end 1 somewhere, which looks like the situation is going to happen as of now, and they're going to roll with Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely's your tight end 1, I mean, you can bump him up right to Mason Taylor range, around top 15, around George Kittle as well. That's how talented he is. Again, we're early on these rankings, so we got to wait and see how things shake out. Number 21, I'm an Iowa guy. It's where I was born and raised, man. I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan. TJ Hawkinson. Again, if they get Mac Jones, here we go, right? If they got J.J. McCarthy out there again, it's no bueno, man. The offense didn't look good. I mean, you had Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, a great line, and J.J. McCarthy just didn't look good. So that wasn't a good sight there, but I do think they're going to be looking at a quarterback, because you've heard all the rumors from Kyler Murray to Mac Jones to, Malik Willis, every available free agent the Vikings you're hearing about, which shows you right there that they do not like the J.J. McCarthy situation. So Mac Jones rolls up. You could, put TJ Hawkinson maybe a couple spots higher here. This guy right here, number 24, Ben Sinnott. If you guys have been part of my channel, you know how much I like this guy. When you look over here as well, Zach Ertz and that terrible knee injury, man, at his age, I believe he's 35, 36. I mean, I think it's done for Zach Ertz. And they paid John Bates last year. He's the blocking tight end. It is time to unleash the Kansas State stud Ben Sinnott. And with his age, you could even move him up. But again, we don't know how the situation is going to play out yet with the Commanders. We don't even know what's happening with Debo. We've heard a lot of Ayuk rumors. We know that McLaurin's back because of the holdout contract he had last year. Are they going to splash in for a running back? Do they like Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt? A lot of questions to be answered, but they do have the answer at tight end, I believe, in Ben Sinnott. And I was super high on him coming out of Kansas State, and I hope he gets to flash his talent here. Number 26, Dalton Schultz. Career year last year, and I was all in on Cade Stover. I was like, he's the buy you should get. And then Cade Stover got hurt, and Cade Stover was playing more than Dalton Schultz at the beginning of the year, and then he got hurt for the season. So obviously then Dalton Schultz absolutely lit it up. But do I really want a 31-year-old Dalton Schultz when they get all the wide receivers healthy back in the Houston Texans? Maybe they get Joe Mixon back as well, right? And that defense is going to give them opportunities galore. But when you look at it now, Stover will be back. They'll probably play, more 12 personnel at tight end situation. You're also going to have wide receivers galore. You're going to have Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, Noel, and you're going to have Tank Dell back. So where does the targets come for Dalton Schultz next year? I'm not that high of a fan. He's more of a bye-week plug-and-play tight end for me, not one I really want to own in Dynasty. Number 27, Hunter Henry. I know he is always that safety blanket for Drake May. But if you didn't watch the Super Bowl, you got to realize they need some playmakers out there, man. And Hunter Henry, as good as a tight end as he's been throughout his career, not really a go-getter playmaker type guy. which I believe they're going to get wide receiver help. I believe in free agency, I believe they're going to get tight end help. And I'm not really super stoked about Hunter Henry, even though, he can be a plug and play tight end. I'm just not high on him in Dynasty. Number 28, AJ Barner. Now, this one is also a little hard for me and I had him for an anytime touchdown in the Super Bowl, by the way, absolute lock there. But the thing that's crazy is you got this guy, Elijah Arroyo, right here, right? So we're going to bring him up here as well. You got both these guys, 23, 24 years old. Obviously, AJ Barner's looked better. Super Bowl champs. Could the hangover happen? What are they going to do at wide receiver? Are they going to bring Rashid Shaheed back? What's going to happen with Cooper Kupp? Are we going to see more Torrey Horton? Kenneth Walker looks like he could be on the move too if they don't sign him. Charbonnet got hurt. A lot of question marks coming in for Seattle. I know that Barner and Arroyo could be, low-end buys that you want to make. And I'm just not super happy about it with Kubiak being gone as well. So I'm kind of lower on Seattle at the tight ends. And then coming in at number 30, Juwan Johnson. You're going to have Taysom Hill gone. I mean, Tyler Shuck looked great down the stretch. I mean, you got Kellen Moore, offensive-minded coach, everything, that's why I said buy Olave last year, all year. Chris Olave, draft him, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Kamara, but we know one thing. They're not going to be running the ball that much next year. It's going to be Tyler Shuck might lead them in rushing. So, Juwan Johnson, more of a, weekly play, tight end play, but not really a sexy dynasty own because he's older. Could they look to draft, one of these rookies in the draft? For sure. You could see Stowers, you could see Trigg, you could see Sadek and put with their draft capital. So, and I've always thought that they're going to make this move for Michael Mayer. So, a lot of question marks, but Juwan Johnson coming in at number 30 for me, and that rounds out the top 30 Dynasty tight end rankings for my month of February. We are back. Well. Welcome back, everybody. That was the first episode. I'm going to try and get wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks in here. Again, I don't know when the shows are going to come. Just had a couple free hours here. Wanted to start some fantasy football content. I started on X as well. Took that little 2-3 weeks, month hiatus, man, because I was cranking so much content. So glad to see you guys all back. The content is going to be pouring out. The live shows mainly will probably start. I mean, I'm not sure yet. Again, we've got a ton of things going on, but they will be, I threw up the wrong one. They will be on drafters.com or over here. Whoop. I'm rusty, man. See? So those will start up here. We'll have a live show every single day. We'll be doing 2 to 3 drafts on there with Big Draft Energy. We'll be talking it up. The guys FF, our Discord, everything like that, which you can also see over here. That's our Discord as well. I'll pin those links in the description of the video. And as always, guys, make sure you tap that like and subscribe on the way out. It's good to be back, man. It's good to see y'all again live on the podcast stream here. I'm excited. I've got a lot of stuff coming for 2026, but I'm just so much busy with a lot more this year. Again, I don't know how it's all going to play out, but my wide receivers or running backs or quarterbacks should drop tomorrow. Dynasty ranking, guys. That is it, man. I hope to catch you guys in the next one. If you have any questions, as always, drop them down below. I try to answer every single one of them. I might start, I might put a poll up as well. I might start doing a Dynasty trade show weekly here. So let me know if you guys made it this far into the video to see that. Answer that in the comments if you guys can as well. And I will catch you guys in the next episode, man. Sleazebum out.